Have you ever wondered why, in the moments when your world seems to fall apart, the only thing you hear is silence? Not the comforting silence of peace, but the heavy silence that presses down on your chest and makes your heartbeat sound louder than your prayers. Breathe in just for a moment. Feel the weight in your body, the ache in your shoulders, the tightness in your throat, the exhaustion that sinks all the way to your bones. Maybe you're tired of waiting for answers that never seem to come. Maybe you keep showing up, whispering words into the quiet, hoping something, anything, will shift. You long for a sign, but the waiting stretches on, endless and unbroken. Still, you keep holding on, even when your hands feel empty. Close your eyes for a second. Listen to that quiet. It's not the hush of comfort, but the echo of questions that won't let you go. Why does it feel like you're walking through fog, where every familiar thing suddenly seems distant? Why does the next breath feel heavier than the last? Maybe you're surrounded by people, yet loneliness wraps around you tighter than ever. Maybe you're holding your breath, bracing yourself for news you're not sure you want to hear. You're not alone in this. There are no easy words, no instant relief. Just the reality of standing in the in-between, where nothing is certain and everything feels fragile. But what if this silence isn't emptiness? What if it's not a sign of being forgotten, but a space being carved out for something new to begin? Hold that thought for a moment. Let it settle in your chest. Because sometimes what feels like an ending is really the quiet before the story changes. How long have you carried a weight you can't explain, a heaviness that no one else seems to notice? Maybe you've become so skilled at hiding it, behind smiles, behind routine, that even you barely recognize it anymore. Have you ever wondered if you've hidden your pain so well you've lost sight of where it truly hurts? There's a kind of tiredness that runs deeper than the body, a weariness that touches the soul. Sometimes it feels like the silence is pressing in, as if all the words you want to say have vanished before they could even form. It's not just you. Even those who seem steady, who move through life with quiet certainty, sometimes feel the ground shift beneath their feet. Maybe there are moments when you question if your struggle is a sign of weakness, when you wonder if not feeling strong enough means you're failing at something essential. There's a subtle shame that comes with not being able to keep it all together, with feeling like your faith or your hope should be louder, brighter, more present than it is. But what if you're not alone in this? What if the quiet doubts, the silent questions, the ache that won't leave, are part of a story more common than anyone admits? Have you found yourself holding your breath, waiting for something to change, while secretly fearing that nothing ever will? Do you ever replay your own thoughts at night, searching for where things began to unravel, not sure if the fault is yours or just the way life sometimes unfolds? Is there a place inside you that feels unfinished, a space you keep hidden even from yourself? You don't have to have answers right now. You don't have to pretend the exhaustion isn't real. This moment is yours. No explanations needed. No judgments allowed. Some nights, the darkness feels so complete it's hard to believe morning could ever return. Yet, somewhere below the surface, seeds split silently in the soil. Roots searching for water, stems pressing upward, unseen. Maybe hope is like this, invisible at first, working in hidden places, patient in its unfolding. There are moments when everything still seems motionless, but if you look closely, a faint shimmer lines the horizon, and the air holds its breath just before rain. You remember a time when you didn't know how you'd stand, and still, somehow, you did. A memory surfaces, not quite clear, just a gentle warmth, like a hand steadying you in a crowd, or a voice humming softly behind closed doors. Sometimes comfort comes that way, wrapped in the ordinary, so subtle it only reveals itself in hindsight. There are days when emptiness feels endless, yet, in its quiet, you sense a stirring, a fragile, persistent pulse, as if something is being shaped where your eyes can't reach. Perhaps silence is not the absence you feared, but a shelter, a hidden womb where new things quietly grow. Maybe what looks like waiting is actually becoming. In the hush, beneath the weight of questions, you notice small mercies, a breeze that cools your forehead, the way light sifts gently through curtains, or the delicate ache that reminds you you're still alive. No answers come, no sudden strength, but there is this breath moving in and out, the world whispering that change can begin softly. You don't know what's next, but you rest in the possibility that something gentle is at work. The night is not over, but the darkness feels less final. And for now, that is enough. Maybe this isn't abandonment. Maybe this is what it feels like to be carried in the hush, in the pause before something new. There's a waiting that isn't empty, a silence that isn't void. This is the quiet gestation of hope, hidden like seeds pressed deep into the darkness of the earth. It's possible that what seemed like the end is really a beginning, not a closed door, but a sheltered womb. What once felt like absence might be a kind of care too tender to make itself loud. The darkness is not punishment, but protection, an invisible presence shaping you from within, even when you can't see or hear it. This is the holy hush, the gentle pause that holds you between what was and what will be. Breathing in the silence, you may find that your frailty is not failure, but fertile ground. Each sigh, each moment of stillness is not wasted. The quiet is a slow unfolding, a secret work, where roots grow strong before the first green breaks through. You are not motionless. You are being formed. You are not forgotten. You are being held in a kind of sacred waiting. Maybe the silence is not the absence of words, but the presence of something deeper, like the space between heartbeats or the breath before song begins. So perhaps this is what it means to be brave when everything feels uncertain. To let the silence speak, to trust that the hidden work matters, to believe that what is being woven in the dark is not the end of the story. It is possible that this is the silence before the dawn, the pause that prepares you to rise. Maybe right now, you feel a quiet sigh inside, a sense of gentle relief, or maybe a tear you didn't expect has finally found its way. If this story has echoed something deep in you, even if you can't put it into words, that is already a kind of faith. Sometimes, just staying present with what stirs inside us is an act of courage. You don't need to force understanding or chase after certainty. It's enough to let these words settle for a moment, to notice if your heart feels a little less alone. If something in this silence felt like home, you can simply breathe an amen in your spirit or rest your hand over your heart as a quiet yes. That's all it takes. Remember, you're not the only one walking through this night, not the only soul listening in the hush, carrying questions, hoping quietly. There are others, unseen but close, who are feeling their way forward too. This is a community made of silent hope, where even your smallest response matters. If you feel the need to mark this moment, you might pause, close your eyes, and gently acknowledge, I am still here. Let that be enough for now. It's a simple act, but it honors the journey you're making, step by step, even when the way ahead is still hidden. Hold this silence a little longer. Allow yourself to believe that something sacred is drawing near, not in noise or spectacle, but in the gentle unfolding that happens just before the dawn. While answers may still be out of reach, trust that the waiting itself holds meaning, and that what is forming in you will one day be revealed. Maybe now, in this gentle quiet, you can sense what always seemed impossible. God never left your side. Even in the deep silence, when prayers faded and you wondered if anyone was listening, His presence remained, soft, unannounced, unwavering. There was never a moment too empty or too broken for Him to draw near. Jesus never came for the flawless. He came for hearts worn thin, for those who run out of words, for those who can only offer their tired silence. You never had to earn His attention, never needed to be impressive for Him to stay. Even on the days you doubted everything, even on the nights you felt invisible, He whispered, I am still here. There is no need to perform, to prove yourself worthy or strong. God never let go, not even when you thought of letting go yourself. His love is not a test or a task. It is a quiet, constant shelter, wide enough for every question, strong enough for every weakness. Perhaps you can feel it now, a warmth where you expected more emptiness, a gentle reassurance that you are not alone and never truly were. This is the restoration of a bond you thought you'd lost, a holy closeness that asks nothing but your honest presence, your simple being here. No guilt, no fear, no earning. Just a return to the truth that all along you have been carried. Maybe, just maybe, every silent night, every hidden ache was already held by hands that never grew tired of you. And perhaps, if you listen closely, you'll realize he's been speaking these things all along in a language older than fear, stronger than uncertainty. Something sacred is waiting to be heard, a word meant for you, crossing centuries and silences, ready to meet you right here. Maybe you didn't know, but this ache, this searching for courage in the middle of so much uncertainty, has already been whispered in the ancient words. This path, where fear and hope mix quietly, was never meant to be walked alone. There is a promise that doesn't demand explanation, a word that simply stays even when nothing else seems steady. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Isaiah 41 verse 10. This isn't just an old phrase from another time. It's the breath that meets you right now, where your hands tremble and your heart wonders what tomorrow will bring. These words don't ask you to be strong. They offer strength to what is frail. They don't wait for you to have perfect faith. They hold you, exactly as you are, in the middle of your doubts and exhaustion. Here, in the silence, this promise softly finds you. It knows the weight you carry. It sees your tiredness. It doesn't ask for anything in return. It's a shelter built for your uncertainties, a hand reaching out in the dark, a gentle voice that calls you brave even when you feel anything but. This word is not far off. It is as close as your next breath. Let it rest on your heart, not as a lesson to be learned, but as a presence to be felt, a quiet assurance that you are not alone, that you are held, and that, even now, you are being made brave. Maybe today your prayer is simply to remain standing. Perhaps your faith is just a quiet breath, a gentle hope that stirs in the middle of exhaustion. There's no need to run. The seed of the word grows in the dark, while you only breathe and let yourself be. Sometimes, the most genuine faith is not loud or visible. It is in the way you carry yourself through silence, in the way your tired hands prepare another meal, in the way you pause for a moment and remember that you are held, even now. This path may not take you forward or backward, but inward, into the quiet spaces where God's presence makes a home within you. The journey is not about moving or achieving, but about remaining, letting the promise take root in the everyday. There is a quiet kind of courage in simply staying. Another sunrise, another breath, another small act of trust as you fold laundry or sit in traffic or rest your weary head at night. Your faith doesn't have to look like certainty or strength. It may look like sitting in the soft glow of morning light, whispering a hope you barely believe. That too is spiritual. That too is holy ground. Even in the silence of your routine, in the pauses and aches of ordinary days, you are living the mystery. The invitation is not to do more or to be more, but simply to be here, now, as you are. Let the word keep growing in the hidden places within the rhythms of your real life. The sacred shows up in the unspectacular, in the breath you take, in the gentle decision to stay, even when everything feels uncertain. The way forward might be small and quiet, but it is still a way. And perhaps, today, that is enough. Father, I don't really have the words. I sit with my hands open, and maybe that's enough for now. You know my heart, every tired part, each question that lingers in the silence. I don't want to pretend I'm strong. I don't want to hide behind routines or rehearsed faith. I just want to be here, honest, even if my voice is only a whisper, even if all I can offer is my weary breath. There are days when I forget how to trust, when I feel more like a seed buried in the dark than anything brave. But I remember you meet me in this place. You don't rush me. You don't turn away. In the quiet, I sense your presence holding me, shaping hope even in my uncertainty. Thank you for not letting go, even when I thought of letting go myself. Thank you for staying, for making the ordinary sacred, for turning my silence into a kind of prayer. Teach me to trust even when I can't feel. Let my doubts become soil where your promise can take root. Even when I falter, even when all I do is stay, you are enough. I surrender my unfinished prayers, my half-formed praise, my unspoken fears. I rest in the truth that your love is not measured by my words or my strength. Make me brave, not with loud declarations, but with the quiet courage to remain, to breathe, to hope again, right here in the middle of everything uncertain. I am learning that just being here with you is enough. So I stay, and in this staying, I find you. That is my prayer. God is still with you. Even when you can't feel him, he remains quiet, steady, closer than your next breath. The seed planted in your heart today will grow, even if you can't see it yet. In the right time, in grace's own rhythm, hope will push through the soil of your uncertainty. And if today all you managed was to breathe, to exist in the silence, know that this too is prayer. You belong here, in this gentle space where doubts are not a weakness, but an invitation to trust. You are not alone, and you never have been. If this word found a home in you, let your soul respond, even with a simple amen. Sometimes a silent gesture of faith is enough, a quiet agreement between your heart and God. If you feel someone else might need this gentle reminder, share it forward. Perhaps there is someone also waiting in the quiet, longing to know they are seen and held. You can always return to this place whenever you need to breathe, to rest, or to remember that you are loved. This is a living space, a soft landing for your soul. If you wish to keep walking with us, you are welcome here. This space is yours too. May you find courage in small steps, peace in honest prayers, and the steady reassurance that God holds you, even now. Rest well.